Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. The Knicks got smacked last night by the Denver Nuggets. And now tomorrow, they'll be back home at Madison Square Garden to take on the Indiana Pacers. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like this game is going to be that much easier than playing the Denver Nuggets. As a matter of fact, when you start to really break down these teams, it might be a very similar matchup. And that could be a bad thing for the Knicks. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. You tell me. But let's go ahead and get this thing bumping. Let's rock. That's the thing. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks are 4-18 on the season. And what a season it's been so far. We're a quarter of the way through the season, 22 games into the season, and there's already drama in New York Knicks land. What else did you expect, ladies and gentlemen? Did you expect any different? Not sure you did. Not sure I did. I thought the waters had simmered down a little bit. And we were away from all this drama. Not that I thought we were going to be a world beater and break down the doors of the NBA Finals. I just thought all of this stuff was past us, this drama. I thought we were kind of on the right track. We had the right mindset. We knew what we were doing. I actually thought we had a plan. Well, as I start to look at things, all I can say is, no, we don't. We're grasping at straws, trying to find something that sticks. Nothing's sticking. Nothing's sticking. I don't know. Thought we had a plan of how we were going to use these players coming in, but it doesn't seem apparent to me that we do. We're going to have a conversation about whose fault this is. Whose fault is it? Is it David Fizdale? Is it Scott Perry and Steve Mills? Is it the players? Is it everybody? Is it James Dolan? Who's the culprit? I don't know. But anyway, we play the Indiana Pacers tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden, 7:30 p.m. The projected starters for the Knicks, Frank Ntilikina, who's he's back with us after having a sore upper back. R.J. Barrett, Marcus Morris, Julius Randle, and Taj Gibson. That's the starting five. And I see a lot of matchup issues going against the Indiana Pacers, folks. I really, really do. I see some matchup issues, and I'm a little bit nervous about it. Projected starters for the Indiana Pacers. Malcolm Brogdon at point guard. Very good pickup. They picked him up from the Milwaukee Bucks. Been a really good pickup for them. Jeremy Lamb at shooting guard. He's in because Victor Oladipo is out. TJ Warren at small forward. Domantas Sabonis at power forward. And Miles Turner at center. This team can be dangerous for us. I think they can. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's go ahead and break down some of the numbers behind this game right here. The New York Knicks, as I said, are 4-18. They're on an 8-game losing streak now, no longer a 7-game losing streak. So let me get that fixed up for you. All right, the Knicks are on an 8-game losing streak, ladies and gentlemen. That's not good. It is not good at all. And I don't know. I don't foresee this losing streak changing at all either. You know what I mean? But anyway, the Knicks are on an 8-game losing streak. They average 100.5 points per game. They give up 111.3 points per game. They shoot 42.2% from the field, 35.8% from three, and 44.1. They grab 44.1 rebounds per game. They average 19.8 assists per game and 15.1 turnovers per game. The Indiana Pacers, and this is correct, the Indiana Pacers, they're on a 2-game win streak at the moment. They average 109.9 points per game. They give up 104.4 points per game. They shoot 47.4% from the field. All right? They shoot 36.7% from three, and we all know that three-point line is an Achilles heel of this team, ladies and gentlemen. It is an Achilles heel of this team, of the Knicks I'm talking about. They grab 46.9 rebounds per game. They average 24.8 assists per game, 14 turnovers per game. Their offensive rating is 109.3. That's 13th in the league. Their defensive rating is 103.9. That's 8th in the league. Tomorrow night against the Indiana Pacers, that'll be the third team in a row where the Knicks have faced a top 10 defense. 2 of those games were top 5 defenses. The Denver Nuggets, that was a top 5 defense. Milwaukee Bucks, that was a top 5 defense. Indiana Pacers got a top 10 defense. The Knicks' offensive rating is 101.9. That's 30th in the league. That's last in the league. Their defensive rating is 112.9. That's 23rd in the league. Close enough to being last for me. Very similar circumstances to the previous 2 games, especially to the Denver Nuggets. Right? Maybe we don't go down by 43 points. Maybe we don't see a 40-point deficit. We might see a 30-point deficit. I don't know. We're going to see if these guys are going to be humiliated again. Hopefully they show some pride. Key matchups. Looking at Malcolm Brogdon. He's 6'5", 229 pounds, point guard. He's averaging 18.9 points per game. He averages 4.9 rebounds per game, 7.9 assists per game, and 0.9 steals, just under 1 steal per game. He shoots 47.2% from the field, 33.8% from three. He's a hell of a point guard. Hell of a guard, man. It's good. He plays good defense. He's a defensive guy. He's smart. Basketball IQ. Very good pickup by the Indiana Pacers. We'll be facing off against Frank Ntilikina, 6'7", 200 pounds. He's a guard forward. 6'6". He averages 6.6 points per game, 2.1 rebounds per game, and 3.4 assists per game. He also averaging 1.4 steals per game. Shooting 39.1% from the field. And quietly, ladies and gentlemen, Frank Ntilikina is shooting 36.5% from three. Would you imagine that coming into the season? Very quietly, this guy is shooting 36.5% from three. We'll see if he can keep it up. But this is going to be a matchup to watch because Frank's going to have to guard this guy. All right? And he's a smart, Malcolm Brogdon is a smart, crafty player. So Frank's going to have to be on his job. It is a key matchup because he's the engine that can that'll make the team go. Malcolm Brogdon, he's the engine that'll make Indiana go. Another key matchup is the matchup of the power forwards. Domantas Sabonis and Julius Randle. Here's where we come into some issues. Because I'm worried, I'm thinking about these matchups. Because Julius Randle may not be the main guy guarding Domantas Sabonis, all right? But we're going to look at this matchup. Domantas Sabonis, 6'11", 240. He averages 18.4 points per game, 13 rebounds a game, 3.7 assists per game, and 0.7, just under 1 steal per game. All right? He shoots 51.5% from the field, 21.7% from three. Julius Randle, he's 6'8", 250. He averages 16.8 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists per game, and just under a block per game, and actually just under 1 steal per game. I think he's like 0.5 blocks and 0.7 steals. Nothing spectacular in either way. He shoots 44.2% from the field and 24.1% from 3. Now here's my thing. I'm not exactly sure that Julius Randle is going to be guarding Domantas Sabonis. Okay, it may be more. I'm thinking if it's me, I'm probably going to put Julius Randle on Miles Turner and let Taj Gibson guard Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is a beast down low. He can score in the post, man. Obviously, you see he averages 13 rebounds a game. Okay, Miles Turner, he can score as well. He's not as crafty a scorer as Domantas Sabonis. I feel a little bit more comfortable with Julius Randle on Miles Turner, someone who's not as prolific. And I'm not saying Domantas Sabonis is super prolific, but he's burned the Knicks plenty of times in the past. Plenty of times in the past. Now, obviously, the way that the Knicks play defense, they're going to be switching back and forth anyway. Right? They'll be switching back and forth, playing this guy, that guy, which, as you heard, Walt Clyde Frazier, and I've said it several times, but Walt Clyde Frazier said it last night on the telecast, it takes accountability away from anybody. When you keep switching that way, who's accountable for the person? The players don't know, the coaches don't know. Is everyone switching all the time? But anyway, that's not in this argument right now. You know how I feel about that. But how are we going to guard Domantas Sabonis? I don't know. He's a beast. But it's not just Domantas Sabonis, man. It's their entire starting 5 that I'm concerned about. Their entire starting 5 is a threat. Is a real threat on the floor. Let's go back and let's take a look at this starting 5. All right, because this could be a real problem for us, ladies and gentlemen. Real problem for us. Malcolm Brogdon, he averages 18 points a game. Jeremy Lamb, I think he's somewhere around 13 or 14 points a game. TJ Warren, he averages 18 points a game. Domantas Sabonis, he averages 18 points a game. Miles Turner averages 13 points a game. Their entire starting 5 is in double digits. Their entire starting 5 is a threat. They play very similar to the Denver Nuggets. Very similar. You looked at the Nuggets starting 5, all of those guys scored in double digits. Nobody was over 20 points a game. Nobody. That's a problem. When you looked at the box score from last night, it was the bench that killed us. The bench had 15, 16, 18, 17 points. Their starters were in single digits. Now, the Indiana Pacers don't have as strong of a bench as the Denver Nuggets, but their starting 5 is strong, and they share the basketball. They average 24.8 assists per game. So this is a team that's very, very similar to the Denver Nuggets. And it scares me because they're a team that shares the ball, moves the basketball. They play a team-oriented style of offense. That gets the Knicks every time. And not to mention, ladies and gentlemen, they're a good three-point shooting team. They're a good three-point shooting team. Go back to it. They shoot 36.7% from 3. The Denver Nuggets burned us last night, shooting 50%, over 50% from 3. They came into the game only shooting 34.8% from 3. These guys already shoot 36.7% from 3, and guarding the three-point line is our problem. We can't guard it for nothing. None. So I'm worried about this game. Well, I'm definitely worried about it. They got the 13th ranked offense in the league, the 8th ranked defense in the league. Maybe we'll be able to score a little bit more against these guys. Maybe our offense look a little bit better because they're not as good defensively as the Bucks or the Nuggets, but they're still very, very, very good defensively. Now, I don't know about this one, folks. I don't know. Maybe you got some answers for me, because I don't have the answers. I'm just hoping that the Knicks show up. Let's take a look at the keys to the game. Because, look, these keys are going to be very similar to last night's keys to the game. Very similar to last night's keys to the game. Right? Because we're playing a team that's a similar, very similar team. Now, obviously, you know the main thing. You know the main key to this game, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks got to show up. And I'm gonna get the graphic up on the screen soon. But the Knicks got to show up and be ready to play. The Garden is not going to take another night of what we saw last night, what we saw in Milwaukee. They might burn the place down, man. I'm trying to tell you. They might burn this joint down if we continue to have this type of performance. It's just not acceptable on any level. For a professional team to play with this type of ineptitude. I want to make sure I get that out right. It's just not acceptable, ladies and gentlemen. Not acceptable at all. So we gotta come into this game. I don't know. Maybe Coach Fizdale needs to let somebody else talk to the team. You know, maybe somebody else needs to be the motivator, because whatever Fizdale's doing is not working. You know what I mean? It's not happening. But anyway, let's get to it. Wasted enough time here. I feel like wasting your time anymore. Keys to the game, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, show some pride. Is what I was just talking about. Show some pride. Show that you care about this team. Show that you care about the city. Show about you care about your damn self. Gotta play team defense. Gotta play some team defense, man. We don't play team defense, it's gonna be a problem. Because these guys will move the basketball. Listen, this is almost the style of team that the Knicks hope to put together. To be honest with you, I just feel like we don't have the right coach to put this type of team together, or to coach these guys, to coach the Knicks the way that the Indiana Pacers are coached. Because this is what it seems like the Knicks were shooting for. A deep team where you got guys all around that can score and get you a bucket. Guys that's going to play hard and play defense and rebound the basketball. It's kind of what I think the Knicks were shooting for, but it didn't work. Partly, I think, because you don't have the coach that can put it together. It's neither here nor there, but anyway. Well, it's not here nor there. It's a lot. It means a lot. But for these purposes, we're going to go on with the keys of the game. So they got to play team defense because they got scorers all around the starting five. Defend the paint, ladies and gentlemen. They got to defend the paint. Miles Turner, Domantas Sabonis, they can score inside. Okay? These guys can score inside. And, you know, if we don't defend the paint, we're going to get killed. This is going to be double trouble. We got to defend the paint and we got to defend the three. Similar to like we had to do last night against the Nuggets. Defend the paint and defend the three. The Indiana Pacers average 49 points per game in the paint. That's 7th in the league. 7th. We don't defend the paint, we're going to be smacked. We didn't defend the paint against the Nuggets. We didn't defend against the three-point line either. Telling you. It's like I can see the same thing happening. I'm hoping not. I really am. I hope not. Bad line of boards. Now, these guys aren't a great rebounding team. They're 19th in the league. The Knicks are 20th in rebounding. But the Knicks haven't even been rebounding as good as the 20th team. They had 33 rebounds last night. 33 rebounds. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. 33. Got to do better than that if you expect to win basketball games. We got to take care of the ball. Now, the Knicks had, they had a low number of turnovers last night. And they've been, they average about 15 turnovers per game. But our turnovers come in bunches. We can't do it against this team because they're going to capitalize on it. They're a good defensive team. We can't have bunches of turnovers. Just can't happen. And then ball movement. Got to have ball movement, ladies and gentlemen. The same thing as the Nuggets. If the ball sticks, you're going to allow a good defensive team to cue in on the basketball. You're going to have trouble scoring the ball. Got to make the ball move, make the man move. That's how it's got to be done. That's how you can at least compete. Well, you got to have the mentality first to go out and compete. That's what I see, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I see right now. We'll see what's going to happen. I'm a little bit nervous about this game because of the matchups, because of their ability to score from all over the floor and have multiple guys that can score. It's scary. It's scary because the mind state of this team is not strong. These guys are mentally weak. They have not proven that they can be a mentally strong team. They have not proven it. So it scares me a little bit. Scares me. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the channel, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell. You'll be notified anytime I go live, drop a video, or post to my community section. If you are on Sportscaster right now, make sure that you follow me on Sportscaster and share it. If you're on Sportscaster or YouTube, share it out to everybody. Share it on Twitter, Facebook, all of that good stuff. I got a brand new membership platform that I'm proud to announce, and I hope that you guys will take part in it. And it's nice. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. I'm going to put a link up in the YouTube chat so you can check out this membership platform. There's 3 tiers. You got the 2000s Knicks. That's $1.99 per month. You got the 90s Knicks, that's $2.99 per month. And then you got the 70s NBA champions, that's $4.99 per month. And you get a host of different perks. I'm going to show it to you, ladies and gentlemen, so you can check it out. Show it to you, and then I'm going to put the link in the chat. And, hopefully you feel like you want to join. If not, that's cool too. You don't have to. I love having you on anyway, whether or not you join. That's all good. But here you go. If you do decide to join, this is what you get. For the 2000s Knicks level, it's $1.99 per month. Of course, you get a little NBK logo next to your name. You get access to a couple of emoji, and there's going to be a few more added in the coming days. All right, you get early access to promotions, like tickets and contests and those type of things. Then there's a members-only live stream that's going to take place once per month, maybe even more. If you join the 90s Knicks level, you get all of everything that I just said before. You get access to exclusive events just for members, free NBK promotional items, and then early access to exclusive content, also discounted merchandise. Then if you're a 70s champion, a 70s NBA champion level, you could possibly star in your own video. And I'll have that information out, but you get a chance to speak your mind with me. We'll have a conversation. Free merchandise. From time to time, there'll be free merchandise that gets sent out to members at this level. Access to exclusive interviews when they come about. And then unreleased footage. You know, we're always recording. You know, we record special videos and fun videos and stuff like that and you'll get access to the unreleased footage of those videos. All right, so if you feel like you want to join, go ahead and join it, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm putting the link in the chat as we speak. All right, so here is the link right here. And you can go ahead and join and be happy to have you. I appreciate you. We'll get back to that in a minute. See, I got some phone calls coming in. I want to talk to some people and find out what you think about the Knicks tomorrow night versus the Indiana Pacers, man. Talk to me. All right, talk to me. Caller, you're live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Kevin from Plainfield, New Jersey, man, and not Steve Mills. How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. What's up with you, man? I hope it's not Steve Mills. You sound like Steve Mills a little bit. I gotta admit it. They were right. You sound like Steve Mills just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I get it, man. I get it. I was just taken back by that. You know, the last time we talked about, people thought I was Steve Mills. That was crazy, man. Anyway, hey, man, what can I tell you, man? I'm at a loss for words, man. I watched that last night, and it seemed like in the first quarter we was, doing okay. But then that second quarter, they were like, just coming left and right. And let me ask you this, because I know you're a coach. How do you defend the three? How would you, if you're the coach of the Knicks, how would you have them defend the three? Is it an effort thing or is it a skill thing? What is it?
Well, this is what I see from the Knicks. Good question. Good question. This is what I see from the Knicks. Whenever the ball swings, you get guys like Julius Randle and other guys that are down there, well, not just Julius Randle, but other guys that are on the opposite side on the floor. Everybody was on the opposite side of the floor, but Julius Randle does it a lot. A lot of times they sag too deep into the paint. And then they got their back turned to the person they were defending, right? And then when the ball swings or if it skips, they can't get out there fast enough, right? Because they're so deep into the paint, the ball is always going to move faster than your feet, right?
Right.
That's why, coaches, they want players to pass the ball up the court instead of dribbling the ball up the court. Because you get the ball up faster and it's going to go faster than players can get there. If that ball is really whipping around that perimeter and swinging, it's going to be hard. If you're sagging too deep into the paint, it's going to be hard for guys to get back out and defend that three-point shot. I see that a lot. I see it a lot. And then the switching. When you have a lot of switching, you can get lost at who is. If you're going to have a lot of switching, you got to have a lot of communication. Guys got to be talking. And it's easy to get confused as to who was supposed to switch where. And then guys get lost. They get lost out there on the three-point line, right? Because someone forgot to switch. Or, you had a bad switch. You get caught up with two defenders on one person, two defenders in one area because you forgot to switch. Right? That's another thing.
Yeah.
And also with the switching, a lot of times you end up getting a guard who is defended by a big. And when you have a guard who's defended by a big man, especially a guard that can shoot, here's the problem. The big man may be there, but they gotta give some space, 2 or 3, 3 or 4 feet. Why? Because that guard is faster than him, so he can blow past him and go to the basket if he's too close. So you give him some space and dare him to shoot the three. Then it's an open 3-point shot.
Yeah.
Right? Because that big man has to give space. So, those are some things that I see. So if you are Steve Mills, I'm joking with you, but if you are Steve Mills, take that back to Coach Fizdale.
Too funny.
All right, take it back to Coach Fizdale. Make sure you got this written down. Take it back to Coach and say, here, Coach, here's one way that you can help to defend the 3-point line.
Well, my brother, I wish I was Steve Mills because you are absolutely right. I would go back and tell him that. It's just crazy because I don't think, were we this bad last year with defending the three like that. I mean, because I think this year it's just it's just abysmal, and everything Galmo and Nate and all of them say, they are totally right. I mean, I have a problem with this coach the way if he has any defensive principles, I mean, you heard him say that I have players now that can retain knowledge. Okay, so why aren't they following what you're doing? Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And,
I don't know. But I'm with you as well. I want to see Coach Fizdale, succeed. But if he's not, I mean, I'll just bite the bullet and take the scrutiny. I mean, it's nothing different, from what the media, and everybody else perceives us as. You know what? I gotta let him go and have like Mike Miller or somebody else. I'm not really all that on that bandwagon of Mark Jackson. I know everybody, wants that. I'm not there yet. I'm really not, because you bring him in, and if we have the same, situation as far as not situation, but as far as experience, then what are they going to say about Mark Jackson? Oh, he's a bad coach. I don't need that. So that's why I'd rather have like a Mike Miller or somebody else in there to not be a friend to these players and just coach them. I mean, in all honesty, I'd rather have Mike Woodson back. I mean, at least he preached defense and get on you and not be a friend towards you. To do your job, the way you're supposed to do it. So that's all I got to say. Once again, you do a great job, Sim. You're a godsend to a lot of Knicks fans, and we love you. And thanks for doing what you do.
Appreciate you, man. Have a
all right.
It's Friday, so enjoy the rest of your day, and then hopefully your weekend have a good weekend, man.
Hey, going Christmas shopping tomorrow, so
okay.
I'll probably miss the game tomorrow night. So there you go.
Well, that should be enjoyable. Maybe that might be bittersweet, right? You enjoy shopping, but then you look at the bill, you're like, oh my gosh, I spent what? Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, bro, take it easy.
All right, man. Later.
All right, peace.
Good question. That's a good question. Good question. If that is Steve Mills, take it back to Coach Fizdale. Take it back to all the assistants and school them a little bit, man. Tell them you heard it right here on the NBK show. I think Fizz watches the show anyway. I don't know. Calling, you're on live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
What's going on, Sam? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Hey, sorry I can't listen to the show at the same time as on my phone at the same time as be on this call, so I don't know exactly what you were talking about.
Right now, I'm just taking whatever's on your mind, man. We're talking about this Indiana Pacers game.
Okay, I was listening to the last episode, and Nate said needs to be a complete culture shock in the Knicks. I got something completely out of the box, and it's very Knicks related, but just hear me out.
All right.
I can tell you from New York, right, Sam? Because I can hear you acting. You from New York, right?
I'm from upstate New York.
From upstate? Good enough. You've been around. I want to start off by saying New York is Babylon. Anybody that is from here, they know that. There's a weird dynamic in this city. You put a lot of good basketball pieces on paper to the Knicks over the last 20 years. We even had Phil Jackson as president. It didn't work out, but we had a lot of good things on paper for the Knicks. I think that Jim Dolan, at this point, actually wants to have a good basketball team. He leaves the game, has recently discussed it. He's made a lot of money from a lot of money makers. There's a lot of non-basketball people that work for the Knicks. This is a New York thing. If you work in New York, you've been in any office building, you see a lot of people from Iowa and anywhere else. They just come here, they litter on the floor, and they leave. It doesn't matter to them whether or not the Knicks win or lose. They're worth $4 billion still after 30 years of losing and 50 years since a ring. It doesn't matter. They're not the right people. I don't know who to name specifically. I can only imagine an entire office worth of people that comes and drives home to Connecticut or something like that. Jim Dolan has made a lot of money, and I feel like at this point, he probably wants to go out with a good basketball team. And here's my message to you, Jim Dolan. If you do want to go out with a good basketball team because you're in your 60s, you need to hire people from New York, or at least basketball minds. You hired a lot of business people, and that's just how New York is run. Anywhere, any industry, it doesn't matter. It's a bunch of marketers and a bunch of people that just don't make a lot of sense. They don't care if we win or lose, and that's just my message. That's my message. Hire basketball people, Jim Dolan, and start with people from New York, because they're not going to take it so lightly when we get blown out like that. These people don't care. They're not from here. They're probably not even Knicks fans. They're corporate. This is a very corporate place, and it's not basketball. It's too corporate.
Point taken, my man. Point taken. Very well said.
I'm sorry to go off for crazy like that, but it's just burning inside. I had to call in and say that. Jim Dolan, if you want a good basketball team, start from the roots.
I appreciate you calling, my brother. I appreciate you calling.
I don't mean to rile you all up, but I needed to say that.
You good, man. That's what it's for. That's what it's for, man, so people can get it off their chest.
You got the best Knicks channel on YouTube, man. Keep it up.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Have a good one.
Be well.
Peace. Hey, people gonna get it off their chest, man. I will say, I do think that James Dolan definitely wants to win. You know, but I agree with my man. Get basketball people in there. There is a lot of Madison Square Garden is a big business. It's a corporation. It's a big business. But basketball's got to be run like a basketball team. You know, I understand it, though. I get it. I get it. Calling y'all live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping? Caller, y'all live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Yo, what's good, Simi? Tony Brown from Vegas, man.
What's going on, bro?
Check this out. What's going on, man? Like, check this out, right?
All right.
So, during free agency, the last couple of years, the front office, they went out and got players that haven't accomplished anything on their previous teams. You know what I'm saying? The previous NBA season. So it's like when you go out and you get players that haven't been winning from on other teams and you bring them back to this team with first year, second year players, rookies, undrafted players, whatever. I mean, the team is just by default is going to be bad. You know what I'm saying? Especially with a coach that's in his second year. You know, and look, I'm going to admit, I was one of those guys that was saying that, look, Fizz needs to be fired. But at this point, it's beyond Fizz, man. Like, it's way beyond Fizz. Like, I do believe that he has, like, 50-50 in the situation as far as how bad we are right now. But at the same time, it's like you look at some of these players, it's like they don't match up well with the rest of the players on other teams. Like, they can't stay with their guys. Like, I mean, I know this man is teaching them defense. Like, I know he's teaching them defense. But you take a guy like Julius Randle, like you said earlier, he stays in the paint, have his back face to the 3-point line and stuff like that. He's missing the action in back of them. Like, these players are taking advantages of matchups with foul players. So it's like when you have a bunch of players like that on this team, I mean, by default, we're just going to be bad defensively. Like, you know, last game is basically like that's what's been going on, man. Like, pretty much, like if you're watching the games, man, we just suck, man. Like, we just suck. One thing I do feel like the front office does well is draft. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's the only thing they do well. When it comes to free agency, forget about it, man. I mean, what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, I don't deny that Coach Fizdale is probably teaching defense. It's the principles that he's using, in my opinion. You know, what are the principles that he's teaching? I'm pretty sure he's teaching it, but what are the principles? And if you see someone like Julius Randle sagging too far into the paint so that he can't get out, then you got to correct it. Now, if the player doesn't do it, after you try to correct it and the player doesn't do it, then you got to take other, you know, you got to get that player other consequences. So my biggest issue with Coach Fizdale is his level of accountability to players. How does he hold those players accountable but when they're not doing their job? That's my biggest issue with Coach David Fizdale. Right?
Let me ask you this real quick.
Yep.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but at this point, do you believe bringing in a different coach is going to make a difference with these current players that we have on the roster?
Well, if that coach comes in, because let's put it like this. There's no excuse for getting blown out by 40 points 2 games in a row. There's just no excuses, especially, you know, you want to go against teams that are at the same level, and you still got destroyed, right? I mean, you got destroyed by Cleveland. You got destroyed by Sacramento. Those guys are not at the same level as Milwaukee or even Denver.
Right.
Right? So to me, that has to do with something that's internal. And I feel like it's because Coach Fizdale does not hold these guys accountable. Not everybody accountable in the same manner, right? So what I'm saying is, if a new coach came in, they're going to use the same. You're not going to have enough time to put in a totally new system, right? You just don't, because there's not many practices in the NBA at this point in the season. But if this coach comes in and simply holds players accountable for what they are doing and what they're not doing, he holds those guys accountable, it could make all the difference in the world. All the difference in the world just by holding guys accountable. I'm not saying that a new coach would come in and make this team a playoff team. It's not what I'm saying. And I don't think anybody expects this team to be a playoff team. There were a few people that said, yeah, maybe the Knicks could sniff the playoffs, but I don't think many people really held that expectation. They just want to see the Knicks play hard every single night, not get smacked. You're going to get smacked some games, right? You're going to get smacked, but not get smacked the way they've been getting smacked, beat the way that they've been getting beat, but come out and really play hard every single night. Even if you're getting beat by 30, you're still scrambling, you're still fighting, you're still hustling back to get a defensive stop after you turn the ball over, those type of things. When your team isn't doing that, then to me, that says that the coach is not holding you accountable. The coach lets those things happen, because that is something that a coach can nip in the bud. Because if a player is not hustling back on defense, making those plays, even when you're getting blown out, then you can simply say, okay, you're sitting. You're going to be on the bench. And I'll put the guys in. We're getting our ass bust by 40 anyway, so I'll put the guys in that want to play hard, and you can send a message that way. I just don't feel like he does that equally with everyone. He'll do it with Knox. He'll do it with Trier. He was doing it with Frank. Right? I mean, Frank, we needed injuries and something to happen in someone's family for Frank to get a shot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Dennis Smith Jr., well, I want him to do well. I want him to, he plays for the Knicks. I want him to do well. Right? But he lacks defensively, but he was out there before Frank Ntilikina. Well, obviously Frank Ntilikina lacked something offensively too. So, you get it. You get where he would think about it.
When Frank was playing bad. Like, I mean, you go back to previous years that Frank been on the team, and I don't know what's happening to this kid, man. Like, I feel bad for him. And it's like, I was never big on DSJ to begin with when we first got him. Even when he was with Dallas, I just felt like he's not a system guy. Like, he's a highlight guy, dunks. He's exciting to watch. But I don't think Dennis Smith is ever, even when he was in NC State, he was never that system guy, like never.
Yeah, no, I agree. But see, my thing with bringing up Frank was to say, Fizdale will hold guys accountable that to me, this is just my opinion, he will hold guys accountable that he doesn't feel like are going to give him any slack. Right? Frank Ntilikina is not going to say anything. He's just going to do it. Kevin Knox not going to say anything. He's just going to do it. Alonzo Trier is trying to be a good soldier. He's just going to do it. But you see the guys like Marcus Morris, Julius Randle, guys that have a little bit more stature, he doesn't seem to hold those guys accountable. Now, people pointed out to me a couple weeks ago, or maybe a couple games ago, oh yeah, Coach Fizdale was yelling at the players in the huddle, had a big talk to them in the locker room. It's one thing to talk to the entire team. It's another thing to address one player and say, Julius Randle, you're not doing this. Right? And you know what? You can do that in front of all of the players. You don't do it to the media, but you can do it in front of all the players. because that
Yeah.
lets everybody else know that you are not afraid to hold the so-called leader accountable.
Word. One thing about, Knicks fans, they're saying that, bench Randall and Morris and stuff like that. The reason why I think they putting the ball in Randall's hand and they letting him have free reign, because there's certain incentives in his contract. I think there's certain incentives with Marcus Morris and Alfred Payton as well. But, as far as Julius Randle, like the way he's been playing, the reason why he got that much free reign is because of the incentives in his contract. And I think if Fizz was to hold him accountable and it messes up with his numbers and stuff like that, I mean, I don't know if the Players Association would come in, but it's not a good look, as far as a contract and business standpoint. So I just want to point that out real quick. But I love your show, man.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
doubt.
Thank you. Have a good one. And what he just said makes a lot of sense. It does. It definitely makes sense. When you have guys with contracts and they have incentives in their contracts to reach this level or that level and things like that, it can get tricky. It can definitely get tricky, right? But I think, in my opinion, as a coach, the coach should be absolved of all of that political stuff, contracts and all of that. The coach should, in my opinion, should be absolved of it. Maybe it's impossible for a coach to not know what's in a player's contract, what kind of incentives are there, or anything like that. Because it can work both sides of the coin. If a coach knows that this player has certain incentives, they may try to play him more to help him reach those incentives, or they may play him less so that they don't reach those incentives. They don't like the player or something. I'm not saying that Coach Fizdale is doing that either way. I'm just saying it could happen. So that's a very good point. Very good point. But I think as coach, in my opinion, should not coach based on this player has an incentive or doesn't have an incentive. A coach should be like, it don't matter. You're either doing a job or you're not. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's the player's responsibility. It's the player's responsibility. If they have incentives and goals that they need to reach to make certain dollars, it's the player's responsibility to get there. And if it's your responsibility to get there, then you need to do what the coach is asking you to do. I know it's not that simple. I wish it were, and it should be. Anyway, caller, you're on live with Nothing But This. What's popping?
Yo, Black, it's time.
What's popping, my brother? How you feeling, man? I'm good, man. It's been a minute. I hope everything is good with you.
Yeah, man. Just getting these bills and then Christmas gifts, man. Working overtime.
I feel you, man. Grinding out there. Keep grinding. Keep working, man. Keep grinding.
Man, it's been tough, man.
It's been rough, man. It's been tough. It's been tough. Hey, I don't know. Maybe the last time you called in, I called it the danger zone.
Yeah.
Danger zone, man. And that's exactly where we've been.
20-4, and it's looking that way, man.
It's looking that way. It's looking that way real strong. I mean, we're gonna play the Indiana Pacers tomorrow night. Team is pretty similar to the Denver Nuggets, and there's a very good chance that we can that we experience the same thing that we experienced versus the Denver Nuggets, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. This has been tough, man. I'm getting heckled all over the place. Cause I wear my Knicks gear daily. It's been part of me for years. So it's crazy out here, man. It's been tough. I don't even know where to start. It's looking like we're gonna have a fire sale.
Yeah.
It's looking like that. You had some very interesting callers. The last two callers last three callers made some great points. So shout out to them.
Let me ask you this. I want to ask you this because me and Mark, we really had a debate last night. I mean, he flat out just said he's putting everything about the Knicks right now on Julius Randle. What do you think about that tape?
I mean, it can't everything can't fall on him. He's a big part, and that's what I actually want to touch on as far as what the last caller said. With because I agree with you. I feel like Randall and Morris have been held accountable the least of anybody on the team.
Exactly.
I feel like Morris has. I mean, I'm sorry, Randall has had. He should have been held accountable more than anybody else as far as disappointing play, as far as lack of defense. Like you said, his back towards the 3-point line, so he's never making that rotation.
Exactly.
And he's been the main one. I noticed it last game from Morris throughout the game, which surprised me. I don't know if I've missed that a lot throughout the season or if that was just that game. But he can't be the only reason, but he has the highest percentage. Even more so than Fizdale, in my opinion. And going back to holding him accountable and the contract thing, that's tough because Fizdale shouldn't have to deal with that, but that's just the way life is for an NBA coach.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know if he was told something specifically, or if he just knows about it and is acting accordingly. But yeah, Randall's been a disappointment, big disappointment.
Oh, he's been a huge disappointment, Tony. And what I was trying to get across to Mark and help Mark to understand is, one, like you said, there's no way a 40-point loss you can place it on one player, right? The team being 4-18, no way you can put it all on one player. It just can't happen. But also, like you're saying, Julius Randle should be the first person that gets, I don't want to say discipline, the first person that receives any kind of consequences, the first person that's held accountable. He's the one making the most money. You want to send a message as a coach? That's who you go after. Right? That's who you discipline. That's the guy who you say, I am going to send a message by pointing at you first. And I'm going to put responsibility on you. And if you don't hold up to it, you're going to deal with the consequences like anybody else would. That'll set everybody else straight. That's how I feel about it.
He's the only person that I have not heard Fizdale talk about in that manner.
Right.
You've heard him talk about it with Frank. You heard him talk about it with Knox. Specifically what he told them to work on and why they've been sitting, or why they missed the game, or whatever the case may be. The minutes were low. You heard it about RJ. You've heard it about every guy except Randall, and he has reason to do it. I don't get it.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, I went back. I watched last night. I rewatched the first half of last night's game, and I did see Randall trying to make a couple of second and third efforts. I mean, I seen a couple of times where he was on the side of the floor by himself. He was defending Paul Millsap, and the ball got swung to someone who was wide open. He had to leave Paul Millsap and try to contest the three. I seen that happen 2 or 3 times in that first half where he was going, he was trying to make a second effort here and there to defend the 3-point shot. And when it was not his fault that 3-point shooter was left open. So you can't say it's just him, because it wasn't his fault that 3-point shooter is left open. He was hustling to try to get there. Now, that doesn't absolve him.
A big part of that is the switching.
The switching,
and I mean, you can't switch. If you're gonna switch based off of who's on the floor.
Yeah,
for example,
right.
if Frank is on the floor, you don't switch. You let him fight over the screen. Let him fight through the screen. If Mitch is on the floor, maybe now switching because he could defend the perimeter a lot better than a Taj Gibson can, or a Portis can. So maybe now you switch off of possession by possession, but they got to know when to switch, when not to switch, who they're guarding. I don't know. It seems like they don't know that.
It
really
doesn't.
does.
I think the only time they should be switching, right? If you have Frank, Randall, and Morris in the game. I mean, wait a minute. Frank, Barrett, and Morris in the game. Those three players, I think they can switch interchangeably, in my opinion. Right? Not interchangeably, not on smaller guards. You want Frank Ntilikina to stay on the smaller guards. Right? But if you're playing a team that has taller guards, right? Those three players, if let's just say Marcus Morris and Frank Ntilikina are guarding, whoever, and those two players are running a screen and roll, then maybe you could say, okay, Marcus and Frank, you guys can switch it. You're about the same height. You're both good defenders, right? So a switch would be okay. You don't want to make it the rule, though, in my opinion. I think you never make a switch the rule. I think the rule should be you stay with your man, but you switch in situations where there's nothing else you can do. I think that should be the rule.
Yeah, and then it should be on the players to call that. Listen,
on the play,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? Like be the voice on the floor and call a switch. Don't switch every single possession.
Right. Don't switch just
you're
cause.
actually putting yourself at a disadvantage because if teams know that, now they know exactly what they have to do to get the play that they want ran. And that seems like that happens continuously for us.
Exactly. And it should be the person who is behind the screener. Right? So if my player is going to set the screen, I can tell if the person I'm defending is going to set the screen, I can tell if my teammate can get over the screen or not. And I'm going to tell him, okay, you can't get it. I'm going to switch. I got yours. You get mine. Right? But if they can get over it, you can tell them, you got it. You got it. You got it. You see what I'm saying? So yes, the players should be calling that out. Shouldn't be automatic. I've seen plenty of times, though, where Coach Fizdale's yelling out, switch everything, switch everything.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him on the sideline, switch everything, switch everything.
I've heard it through the TV. One more thing that I noticed, and this does prove that they are working on their defense, and switching is a big part of it. Because I've noticed it the last probably 3 games. When they have a mismatch or a reverse mismatch, they're in a disadvantage. A guard is on a big player. I notice first opportunity they get, they try to switch it off. It may not be a perfect switch, but you got Dennis Smith guarding a power forward. If he could switch with a Knox or even a Dotson or Barrett, they do that immediately, just so the disadvantage isn't that high. And they've been doing that well the past 3 games. Granted, we haven't won, but I did notice at least that. And that's it. They're focusing on the paint because they're getting rid of that disadvantage down low, but they're not guarding the 3-point line at all.
Right. And yeah, that is something that I think Julius Randle talked about it in his post-game interview, that they're guarding the paint and they're not getting out on those 3-point shooters. He's one of the culprits. I watch him every single time. He gets so deep in the paint that he's just not fast enough to recover. He's not the only one, but I see him do it a lot. Where he gets deep in the paint, he can't get back out to recover.
We're not that good individual defenders, so they want to take away the paint and basically help defense down low. But I'd rather us get killed down low than getting killed from 3.
But here's the thing:
you know
the
what
Knicks,
I mean? It's just common sense.
The Knicks right now, Tony, they have they give up 42.9, 42.8 points per game in the paint. That's like
Number
fourth
one.
in the league. That's the fourth best in the league.
Okay.
So they're good at defending the paint right now.
Yeah.
They've got to work at defending that 3-point line because they're good at defending the paint.
And what did you say to the caller as far as like what would help? Because I don't know if I missed it, but all I heard was you say what we actually do. I didn't hear
what
you
would help? Well, what would help is not
what,
sagging so deep into the paint, right? Because a lot of times Julius Randle sags deep into the paint. Julius Randle, Marcus Morris, Frank Ntilikina, they sag deep into the paint when it's not necessary. There's already two guys there. They're sagging deep in the paint and they're watching the ball and they can't see their man, right? And I've seen times where they turn around to where their man was and they're like, oh, he relocated. I got to go over here. You know what I'm saying? They don't need to be that deep in the paint. It's only, if the ball is basic basketball principle and rule. If the ball is 3 passes away, you're 3 steps off your man. 4 passes away, you're 4 steps off your man, right? And you're positioned in a way where you can point at your man and you can point at the basketball. You know what I'm saying? So that you can easily get back out. And then what you have to do is when the ball swings, so if the ball is 4 passes away from your man and you're 4 steps off, the ball swings, and now it's 3 passes away, you got to take a step towards your man. Then when it gets to 2 passes away, you take another step towards your man. That way you're moving along with the ball. By the time the ball gets to your man, you're right there on him. You know what I'm saying? But what happens with us?
More than coaching.
What'd you say? Yeah.
This has to be IQ more than coaching.
It does.
I'm sure.
It does. I mean, it does. But coaches have to correct it when they see it and make sure that they understand how to take those steps away. What I see happening a lot is we get caught in that paint, and then when the ball swings, we're still in the paint, and then all of a sudden when it gets to our man, now we're running out. We're very reactive instead of proactive, right? So we're very reactive on the defensive end instead of being proactive on the defensive end. And then sometimes somebody will drive to the basket, and we'll have too many people collapsing, and then when they kick it out, we can't get there. And sometimes we just don't have a helper helping the helper. You know what I'm saying? One person helps, somebody else is supposed to help the person that just helped out. And we don't get that. So there's some things that happen that are very correctable, where if you just work on helping the helper, not being drawn too deep into the paint, understanding how many steps to be away when the ball is on the opposite side of the floor, some of those type of things. Obviously it's easy, and the guys got to be able to, implement it when they get on the floor, and execute it. So, but hey, Tony, I appreciate the call, man, because I'm about to, I got to get the basketball practice and everything, so I'm gonna be getting off of here pretty soon.
No doubt. If you got a quick second, hit me up. I gotta ask you something.
Okay, bet.
All right. Shout out to the chat. Your Blackest Time. Keep doing your thing, sir.
Thank you. Peace. Mr. GQ, thank you for becoming a member. Mr. GQ just became a 90s Knicks member. I appreciate that. And if you guys want to become members, man, here's the join button is in there. You have access to a couple of custom emoji that I'm sure you'll like. And it's more than just the emojis. Once you hit that join button, you can read all the perks that you get. All right, so make sure you join. Make sure you join so you can be part of some of these exclusive perks and be part of this exclusive fraternity and sorority, whatever group, club, all of that. Caller, you're on Live with Nothing But Knicks. What's popping?
Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm chilling, man. What's going on with you?
Cool. I just wanted to discuss a few things, man. One thing is concerning Fizdale and this team. Although he hasn't been dealt the best cards, there's a few things. While we're on that, I'll just say this team has had such a historical lack of efficient guard play, notoriously known for having a lack of talent at the point guard position. in a city that predicates itself on ball handling guards, which is one thing. So, Fizdale doesn't necessarily have the pieces in order to make things happen. But the bigger thing that I see is going on is Fizdale doesn't have the pieces in order to mask his inadequacies as a coach, from an X's and O's standpoint regarding, issues with lineups, adjustments, someone who's going to motivate players, someone who's going to hold players accountable, player development, which is now in question. And my whole thing is he's just a very, very amicable, personality. And I feel like what's going on is just, a lot of smoke and mirrors right now. So, I mean, he hasn't been given the best hand dealt to him, as far as having the injuries at the point guard position and so on. But it's up to a coach to be able to bring those things together and make it work, or at least make your team compete. And the way you do that is not by having, your 6'9" or 10, 260-pound power forward bring the ball up and run plays. And my whole thing is the Knicks have never really ever valued the kind of players that contribute to winning. One of those kinds of players we see resting on the bench, and it's a name that not a lot of people are talking about when it comes to, players' minutes, and that's Damian Dotson. Damian Dotson's still young. He's still a draft pick, and sometimes you just have to, I say it all the time, you draft a player out of position with an idea in mind with who they're going to turn out to be. But when it turns out that your second-round pick outplays your first-round pick, or your number 30 pick happens to have a better fit within your offense or your system than your second-round pick, you just go for what works, and you throw out draft projections because at the end of the day, they really don't mean anything. I was one of the first people to always say, you know what, I like this Zach LaVine guy a lot better than this Andrew Wiggins guy that they brought in to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I got clowned for years upon years upon years for saying such until Andrew Wiggins never really manifested to be the player that a lot of people, who scouted him as the Jordan/Kobe type, anticipated him being. And now you have Zach LaVine, which every year, if his team is producing, he has a chance to put himself, in the discussion for being an all-star within, a weak Eastern Conference, albeit, but still so he's performing at that kind of level. So when you have somebody like Damian Dotson, a guy that could space the floor, a guy that's young, youthful, athletic, can defend, usually makes the right play, and he's sitting on the bench, there's something to be said about that. When you have a guy with all this offensive talent and potential, such as an Alonzo Trier, also on the bench, when you have the ability to get him to hone in on his offensive talents and put the ball in his hands and tell him, there's a time for you to look for your shot and for you to look for your own shot and to be able to create shots for other players. These are the things that it's up for the coach to instill in the player, not for the player to be put out there on the floor and just be simply told what to do. Like he has to enforce some kind of personality on this team. I just don't feel that. I want to know what your thoughts about that are.
I agree with you 100%, man. He has to, he has to hold, like we've been saying the entire show, hold players accountable, enforce anything that he's teaching. He's got to enforce it with a steel hand.
Absolutely.
And you don't let anything go. You enforce it with a steel hand, and you can't be afraid to be the bad guy. I really do think that is, as far as this team playing hard, that is the biggest issue. You know what I'm saying? As far as this team playing hard night in and night out, and guys, veteran guys, we get a lot of people talk about, some of our veteran guys are not doing what they're supposed to do. Well, if you want those veteran guys to do what they're supposed to do, then the coach has to hold them accountable too. As a matter of fact, hold them accountable first. So yeah, that's what we've been saying, man.
Absolutely. And my whole thing, something that you mentioned that I really thought I thought I was alone in this thought. I really do also feel that Fizdale, I wouldn't say plays favorites, but I feel like he adjusts his tone almost. You know what? I'll just scrap that whole thing together. I really feel like he doesn't press players that he needs to press because he's afraid of, the reaction he's going to get from some of these players. And a lot of them are, veteran players. He only really gets down on the younger players or players that he knows aren't in a position to really challenge his authority, players that are playing hard for him because either they're on their first contracts, trying to make it to their next contract, trying to earn minutes. You don't necessarily want to make a bad impression on the coach, so he finds it easier for him to enforce his will on those players, but for what it comes down to, he's not really doing. And that comes down to coaching. Although he hasn't been given the most, this isn't a 4-win team by any means. When you look at this team on paper, I don't care how it was structured. You have NBA level talent on this team. You have youth on this team. and you have a motivating force behind this team being this city. It's a place where they know the fans expect them to win. They're showing up there every night. And, it's one thing to go out and lose every game. I don't think the issue is that we're going out and we're losing every game. The issue is that we're going out and we're looking like a second-rate basketball team, We're out here looking like the Washington Generals against other teams that might not even be vying for playoff spots or significant seeding. And that's one of the bigger issues to me. So, although he's not getting the play that was anticipated from a Dennis Smith Jr., from, whoever was supposed to make that next leap to be able to take this team to where it's going, when that doesn't work, it's your job as a coach for you to take the next step and say, okay, this isn't working. What is going to work? And I have a feeling we're going to hear a lot of the excuses that he hasn't been given when he is, which I believe he will be eventually fired. And that's just going to, turn into a whole other thing.
Hey, man, I feel you. I'm with you, man. I appreciate you calling in. A lot of good points. Very good call.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man. Have a good one. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks tomorrow night, they play the Indiana Pacers at home. We're doing a lot of talking. We talked about the Pacers, but obviously we're talking about just the Knicks and what's going on with the team. But let's take a look again at some of the numbers behind this Knicks versus Pacers game. And I do want to give a big shout out to my man Tony Crow, who just became a 70s NBA champion member. Big shout out to you, my man. I appreciate you. Guys, don't forget to get your memberships in. All right, get your memberships in. The Knicks take on the Indiana Pacers, and this promises to be a game very similar to what we've seen versus the Denver Nuggets. Or the matchups at least. At least the matchups. At least the matchups should be very similar the way that the teams play to the Denver Nuggets. But let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen. For those who just joined me, let's take a look. The Knicks are 4-18 on the season. And whose fault is that? Who knows? Probably everybody's fault. The entire organization. But they're 4-18 on the season. The projected starters for tomorrow: Frank Ntilikina is back, starting at point guard. R.J. Barrett at shooting guard. Marcus Morris at small forward. Julius Randle at power forward. And Taj Gibson at center. Of course, for the Knicks, Reggie Bullock is still out with a neck injury. For the Indiana Pacers, they're 14-7 on the season. Their projected starters are Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Lamb, T.J. Warren, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner. And Victor Oladipo, he is still out with a knee injury. I wonder how long Victor Oladipo is going to be out and what it's going to look like when he comes back, because this team is still very good even with Victor Oladipo out. Even with Victor Oladipo out. Looking at the team comparison, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks are on a 8-game losing streak. They average 100.5 points per game. They give up 111.3 points per game. They shoot 42.2% from the field, 35.8% from three, 44.1. They grab 44.1 rebounds. They average 19.8 assists and 15.1 turnovers. The Indiana Pacers, they're on a 2-game win streak. They average 109.9 points per game. They give up 104.4. They shoot 47.4% from the field, 36.7% from three. They grab 46.9 rebounds per game. They average 24.8 assists and 14 turnovers per game. The Pacers' offensive rating is 109.3. That's 13th in the league. And their defensive rating is 103.9. That's 8th in the league. It'll be the third team in a row where the Knicks have faced a team that has a top 10 defense. Two of those teams, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Denver Nuggets, had a top 5 defense. The Knicks' offensive rating is 101.9. That's last in the league. They're like 2 whole points behind last season at this point. Last season, the Knicks were 104. The defensive rating is 104, and they were 30th in the league. This year, they're 101.9, and they're 30th in the league. Worse than last year. Their defensive rating is 112.9. That's 23rd in the league. And if they continue to play the way that they've been playing, it's going to continue to go lower and lower and lower. Let's take a look at some key matchups. Malcolm Brogdon, Frank Ntilikina. I think that'll be a good matchup, and we're going to need Frank Ntilikina to bring his defensive prowess to this game. Malcolm Brogdon is 6'5", 229 pounds. He's point guard. He averages 18.9 points per game, 4.9 rebounds per game, 7.9 assists, and just under 1 steal per game. He shoots 47.2% from the field and 33.8% from three. I feel like this was a very good pickup for the Indiana Pacers in the offseason. Very good pickup, ladies and gentlemen. And if, we're going to need Frank Ntilikina to come out and play some basketball against this guy, make sure that this guy doesn't get off, because he can get off. All right, don't sleep on Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon can get off. And it's not what we need at this point. We don't need another guard getting off against us. So we need Frank Ntilikina to step in and play some basketball. All right, play to his defensive potential, which he's done this season. Frank Ntilikina, he's 6'7", 200 pounds. He averages 6.6 points per game, 2.1 rebounds per game, 3.4 assists, and 1.4 steals per game. He's shooting 39.1% from the field. And get this, 36.5% from three. Quietly, Frank Ntilikina is shooting 36.5% from three. We'll see if it continues. But big shout out to Frank Ntilikina for that. And I like seeing the guy develop and his game develop. We're going to talk about this point guard thing in a minute before I get out of here, because Elfrid Payton is now back in the fold. And I want to talk about how that's going to work out. But we're going to need Frank Ntilikina to guard Malcolm Brogdon like we were just talking. We got to chill with the switching. Let Frank Ntilikina play Malcolm Brogdon head up. Stop switching all over the place. Let him play Malcolm Brogdon. Because we don't want this guy to get isolated on Julius Randle, where he can have the choice to go to the basket or shoot the three. All right, let's jam him. We can trap. We can throw some traps at him, try to get the ball out of his hand. The problem is, everybody on that starting five can score. Their entire starting five can get you a bucket. And it's pretty even. The scoring is pretty even. Let's look at the next key matchup. Domantas Sabonis versus Julius Randle. All right, now, Julius Randle may not guard Domantas Sabonis the whole time. And the primary defender may be Taj Gibson. There's another little matchup quirk, because Domantas Sabonis is 6'11", so is Miles Turner, 6'11". Both those guys can score the basketball. Miles Turner is not as prolific as Domantas Sabonis. It might be a good job or smart thinking to put Julius Randle on Miles Turner, put Taj Gibson on Domantas Sabonis. So maybe we see that happen. Domantas Sabonis, 18.4 points per game, 13 rebounds a game, 3.7 assists per game, and just under 1 steal per game, 0.7 steals per game. He shoots 51.5% from the field. A lot of it's inside. Shoots 21.7% from three. Julius Randle, 6'8", 250. He averages 16.8 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists per game, and just under 1 steal per game, 0.7 steals per game. He shoots 44.2% from the field and 24.1% from three. So we'll see how Coach Fizdale chooses to use and defend Domantas Sabonis, Miles Turner. Now, obviously, these guys switch. So you'll probably see multiple defenders throughout the game defending Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner. Who's the primary defender? We'll see. But see, this is the problem with playing against teams like the Indiana Pacers. So many guys are a threat. Let's go back and let's take a look at the starting lineups real quick, so you can see what I'm talking about. Malcolm Brogdon, he averages 18 points per game. Jeremy Lamb, I think Jeremy Lamb is somewhere around 13, 14 points per game. TJ Warren, he averages 18 points per game. Domantas Sabonis, he averages 18 points per game. Miles Turner, he averages 13 points per game. See, that's a problem, in my opinion. Because you got 3 guys that can give you 20 to 25 points if they want to. Malcolm Brogdon, TJ Warren, Domantas Sabonis. You got guys like Miles Turner and Jeremy Lamb, they can give you 20 to 25 too on any given night. And see, these guys, they play the type of offense that it's an equal opportunity offense. They move the ball. Right? The ball swings from guy to guy. They move the ball. Right? So it's not going to be easy. They're not going to be able to cue in. The Knicks are not going to be able to cue in on one person because they keep the ball moving, man movement. That's why they average 24.8 assists per game. So I think this is going to be a difficult matchup for the Knicks defensively. I think it's going to be a difficult matchup. A rare form, you said, I signed up for 90s. Do I have to be on the computer? Usually what happens, my friend, is it'll come through, whether you're on a computer or you're on a or you're on a cell phone. It should come through and show me that you signed up for 90s, and I did not see it. I did not see it at all. So I'll take a look and see what's going on. If you want to email me like a printout or something like that, to show me that you signed up for it, all right? And we can get it, we can handle it, we can take care of it. We'll get it taken care of. So let's move on from here. Let's get to our keys to the game, ladies and gentlemen. Keys to the game. Number 1, show some pride. All right, we gotta show some pride, man. We can't have another debacle like we did against the Denver Nuggets. Gotta show some pride at the Garden. Play defense. We gotta play team defense. We were just talking about this team being the type of team that moves the basketball, has a lot of man movement. If we do not play team defense, we'll be in trouble. Similar to what's happened in the past few games. Defend the paint. These guys score in the paint. All right, they're 7th in the league in points in the paint. 49 points per game in the paint. We got to defend that paint. But we also got to defend the three-point line because these guys shoot 36% from the three-point line, 36.5% from the three-point line or whatever it is, and they'll take us out the same way the Denver Nuggets did. Got to battle on the boards. Listen, these guys, they only average, well, they're 19th in the league in rebounds per game. The Knicks are 20th in the league in rebounds per game. But the Knicks haven't always played that way. We have nights where we get 33 rebounds, like last night. So we got to come in and rebound the basketball. We got to take care of the basketball, ladies and gentlemen. Take care of the ball. Not that we average a bunch of turnovers, but we don't average a bunch of turnovers, but we turn the ball over in bunches. You know? We'll have 3, 4, 5 turnovers in a row, and that can take you out the game. Ball movement. We got to make sure that we are moving the basketball. We cannot get caught in this one-on-one stuff. Especially not against a good defensive team. And the Pacers are a good defensive team. If we get caught with this one-on-one stuff, we're going to allow them to cue in on one player, and we'll be in trouble. Those are my keys to the game, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my keys to the game. I have a question, though. What's going to happen with this point guard situation now? Elfrid Payton is back. My man Frank Ntilikina has been playing a decent game so far. Well, not so far. He's been playing well at the point guard spot. He's not scoring up a storm, but he's playing good defense, right? Dennis Smith Jr., he's still having his struggles. What happens? What do we do? I mean, you've seen Elfrid Payton. He came right in, and it surprised me. He comes right in after missing 17 games, and he's already playing. And, I mean, that if that doesn't tell you that Alonzo Trier is basically done with this team, I don't know what else does, man. Really. I don't know what else does. Elfrid Payton did not play for 17 games. He came right in. Played last night. Meaningful minutes. I mean, he played meaningful minutes. Alonzo Trier didn't get off the bench until it was a blowout. I don't know what that means for Trier. But anyway, what's going to happen with this point guard situation now? I mean, I think, at least for the moment, it's going to continue to be like who's Mark is saying DSJ is broken. I agree with you, Mark. I think his spirit, I think mentally he's out of it. You know, he's not sure what he's doing, where he is. He's not sure what to do. He's not confident in himself as a player right now. That's what I feel. But I think it's going to be Frank Ntilikina and then backed up by Elfrid Payton. Then we'll see what happens from there. And then Dennis Smith Jr. will get in. And I don't know what's going, you know, what's happening with Trier. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Trier. Rock, you said just means Trier doesn't have a good agent. I disagree. Trier just signed a deal with Nike. That's what an agent does. Unless maybe you're not responding to me. Maybe you're responding to someone else. I don't know. And, you know, so I didn't see that whole conversation. But Trier hasn't been getting playing time, and he signed a deal with Nike. I mean, that's a pretty good agent if you can get that done. You know? And congratulations on that deal with Nike, too. But anyway, big shout out to Tony Crow. I think I already shouted Tony Crow out for joining and becoming a 70s NBA champion. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to become a member, I'm putting the link right here in the YouTube chat. You can become a member. It's $1.99 a month for the 2000s Knicks, $2.99 a month to be a 90s Knick, and $4.99 a month to be a 70s NBA champion. Again, that's $1.99 a month to be a 2000s Knick, $2.99 a month to be a 90s Knick, $4.99 a month to be a 70s champion. All right, you get access to the new emoji, and more emoji will continue to come out, and you'll get a slew of perks, so you can go check it out. Putting the link right there, you can go check it out. Join when you're ready. If you don't join, don't worry about it. Nothing's going to change. You have the same content and more that you've been having. If you want to support me, it's a perfect way. I don't know what we're going to do with that point guard spot, though, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what's going to happen there. We'll see. You know, we got some time. We'll see what happens. Right now, I think it's Dennis Smith Jr.'s, but we'll see what I think it's Frank Ntilikina's, but we'll see what happens with, we'll see what happens with this whole thing with Elfrid Payton coming back. Hopefully, with Elfrid Payton coming back, it adds to the defense. It allows, the offense to get humming a little bit more. We'll see. I don't know. But the Knicks take on the Pacers tomorrow night, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if they can respond, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if they can respond. I don't know if it's ever been this bad with the Knicks, or if it's just because we're in the moment that it feels so bad, but this is bad right now. Definitely bad. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to head up out of here. I appreciate you guys for being on with me. It's 3:31. I want to let you get your weekend started. I got to get the basketball practice. Rare form, I'm putting my email address in the YouTube chat so you can hit me up and we can work out this issue, okay? Just to make sure everything is right. Okay, so I just put my email address in the YouTube chat so you can email me, and we can take care of whatever we need to take care of. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna get up out of here. All right, have a safe trip home from work. Enjoy your weekend. Get your weekend started and enjoy it. All right, and let's hope that the Knicks can pull out a win tomorrow night. I will catch you tomorrow night after the game. All right, I'm out of here, folks. Peace.